Point Show, and on this segment I have with me in the studio Ambrose Omodium. Ambrose is an investment analyst from Invest Data Limited. Good morning, Ambrose.
Good morning.
And thanks for coming on board.
Thanks for having me.
Again, as usual. All right. Yesterday, Wednesday, the market closed with top 5 gainers. We had Fidelity Bank topping the gainers chart. It gained 7.25%, followed by PZ, then Custodian. We have FCMB and John Oates. Those were the top 5 gainers. Then on the losers chart, we have Royal Exchange topping the losers chart, full 10% down. That is unusual of Royal Exchange that we usually see on the gainers chart. Then we have Livestock coming at 9.09% loss, and then CNI Leasing, USCN, and Mutual Benefit top losers. Ambrose, looking at this, it looks like the companies on losers charts were usually the ones that we usually see on the gainers. Yes. So, is there something we need to know here, or is just basically the action of trading, demand and supply in the market?
Actually, if you look at the stocks that are on that loser chart, it refers to what is happening in the market as we speak now.
Okay.
No, these are stocks that were up before now. When the market has rallied for like almost 2 months, they are bound to be profit taking, and we have to inform investors that the market has already formed a double top that is likely to pull back. That's what we're seeing since Monday. Market has been on a downtrend. But as yesterday, the stock that lost are those that are profit-taking activities on those, especially the Royal Exchange and Livestock. These are stocks that have gained for the previous week. Coming down later, the investors are taking, looking at the whole market direction is not clear. They are bound to take over it and watch the next direction of the market. For me, it's not a time for people to panic, but I see that the market is definitely to correct. Anywhere in the world, you don't see the market going an uptrend continuously. There's always a time for little correction. That correction also creates room for people to enter and make money in equity market. If you see market going up for a long time, you know that the way the market go up that time, that long period also is going to come down. But when market pull back and also go up again, it tells that the market is very momentum to make a higher uptrend. Knowing that market has suffered huge loss in the month of March, we are seeing an uptrend, a recovery that has been on a stable movement. For me, it's good for our market, despite the economy is not good enough to support the market. But you can see that this disconnection is that liquidity in the equity market while the economy is shaking.
Thank you, Ambrose. Thank you, Ambrose. All right, so over the past few weeks, we've seen increase in petroleum pump price. It's about 150 something now.
Yeah, 160.
60.
Yeah.
Interesting. Then electricity tariff is also up. Yeah. So what should we put in mind looking at this relating to companies that on the stock market that are actually participating in this sector? We have Transcorp. Transcorp is into energy.
Yeah.
And we've got MRS, Eternal Oil. Those ones there in the petroleum area. So is it time to start buying this company now?
Yeah. Actually, as people are complaining, and it's not easy because these are the 2 factors that really drive price anywhere in the world. Utility, which is electricity, and fuel. Fuel is better than anything we are doing in Nigeria. When the price of these things are up, it's going to reflect on the price of equity, everything in the economy, every facet of the economy. And for that, there will be a change of activities, and there are some companies that are going to benefit from this increase, while some are complaining because they're going to jack up cost of production, even cost of living. That's why I think the government, for me, I use the language, I call it a mismatch policy. If you want to increase such, but it's not the 2 at once.
Maybe it's a case of just do it once and let's just do it right.
If you look at what is happening globally, some economy, government are finding a way to cushion the effect of COVID-19 to make sure that the economy find direction, find fit and move on. But here we want to stay longer in recovery because this will going to dip the economy. Don't forget that in second quarter we had about a negative GDP of 1.6. With this increment now, it's going to weaken the production activities in the economy. That will also slow down activities. For me, it's not too good for now. We have done it step by step. And actually, the government have not sure that they prepared for this. We have to prepare. We have to make plans to cushion the effect of the food. We are injecting funds for the effect of COVID-19. Then we are not making this thing. Then how are you going to another palliative coming from this increase? It's like for me, they're going to chew. They are biting more than they can chew. Let me do that language because you really want to say, the money you have, we're injecting like 3.3 trillion to the economy to cushion the effect of COVID-19. Then you are now increasing this. We know that this one is going to affect both poor and rich. Everybody is going to get this. Then what is your next step? To know, for me, I think the government should also look at it. But honestly, there's opportunity in the market for this.
I know you will see. So tell us the opportunities in the market.
There's opportunity because, for example, now with increase in hike in electricity, so companies that are quoted on the exchange, they will have more money. Even though they're going to be more cost, but they have more money because if before you are not paying good, your house is not metered. Now they're going to meter your house, and then you're going to pay. That means there are going to be a lot of improvement in their sales in terms of coverage, and that will going to impact their bottom line. Automatically going to reflect on their earnings. And I say that the major factor that drive price movement in equity market is what? Your earnings, your price. Then economic activity can add about 20% of what move your price is from company performance. And this company is doing well, it's going to reflect on the price. And we'll see that, like we just mentioned, on the Nigerian Stock Exchange today, we have only just Transcorp as the major energy company that is there. Others are in petroleum, which are marketing companies. And those in marketing companies are going to benefit from it, especially those are into marketing. And now from the discussion for government, said they are going to depend on the movement of crude oil price to reflect on the local consumption, on the local pump price. That means if crude oil moves to 18 naira, that means Nigeria are going to pay from their nose. If it comes as low as $12, we're going to get it cheap. And those in that business of petrol market is going to make a hell of money, knowing that the product is like elastic that people need it. Whether price is up or down, people will demand for it. For me, I see opportunity in those stocks. Like, I see that in the last 2 weeks, see the stock like what's it called? Internal Oil, Total. Look at them looking up gradually because people are seeing that there's opportunity already in this kind of company. Let me just position now. That's why I say in anything that is shaky, people are afraid of. You as an investor, as a design investor, look at where you can make money. Invest because it's your hard-earned money. You want to multiply it. Now that your cost of living has increased, you need to see where you can make more money to support your lifestyle.
Interesting perspective. Thank you, Ambrose. Okay, let's look at some earnings report that actually came. We have Access Bank. They grew their gross earning by 22.31%, but profit after tax came down marginally by 1.36%. And then dividend was still 25 kobo, same as last year. Interim dividend was the same as 25 kobo last year. What can you say about this beautiful upline? Of course, they've been acquiring and acquiring. They just acquired Kenyan International Bank. Access Bank just loves to swallow other banks.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is not shocking, saying that they grew their earnings, top earnings, but what happened to their profit after tax?
Now, I would say if you look at that number, that scorecard, that is a missed number actually. Growing your top line and your down line is flat or marginally down is really not too good, but we know where the economy is and where the banks are. Banks are the ones that bear the major brunt of the economic slowdown because banks lend to the economy. If the economy is not doing well, although they have lent money to also will not stabilize for that. All these banks, if you look at their loan book their loan book for second quarter, they made a lot of about 157 billion was made as a loss provision for loss of provision for loan loss. Yeah, okay. They all made that. On that note, that is going to reflect on the bank's bottom line. But the banks in Nigeria, they have shown strength and resilience in terms of keeping up to their dividends. Stock like Access Bank paying 25 they paid last year, even though their bottom line, which is profit after tax, is flat, is good for their investors. And also, if you look at the yield for that 25% compared to the treasury bill of today, you are far better than investing in that stock for now. For me, investors should not just take opportunity, take it, and I expect that these banks are swallowing all that banks that you just said. It's still reflecting on their bottom line. If you look at the industry, the Access Bank has the highest earnings, gross earnings growth for second quarter. Is above that of GTB, that of Zenith Bank, First Bank. Tell that Access Bank is going somewhere. And when a bank is building capacity, kind of expanding, you're going to eat into another market, and that will expand your bottom line. And that is another way Access have decided to go. If you look at Access 5 years rolling plan, it tells you that they know where they are going. And for me, seeing this flat number is not enough to discourage investors for looking the way of Access, but rather you have to extend your waiting period and take advantage of this low price of 6 naira to take enter Access as a long-term investor. For me, you see value for your money because the bank is seriously expanding their capacity, which is going to reflect on their bottom line at the end of the day.
Thank you for that point. Reflect on their profit after tax. Now, as a shareholder, all I'm concerned about is what you're giving to me at the end of the year or mid-year, as the case may be, interim dividend.
Yes.
So now, last year they paid 25 kobo interim dividend. A year before they paid 25 kobo interim dividend. They swallowed Diamond Bank last year or 2 years ago. Right. We've got another swallow in Kenya International Bank. As an investor, I'm interested in knowing at what point will I begin to see this impact on my dividend, because that's actually what comes to me From your own perspective as an analyst, when do you think we should begin to say, oh, we're expecting something? Because you said we should be patient, so now we're chilling.
You said,
so when should we expect something?
they swallowed the Diamond Bank. I know for you to swallow anybody, you have to spend money.
All right, so when will this food digest? That's what
As far as that one, the Kenyan, you need to spend money. That's why the bottom line. But for me, give them the next 2 or 3 years, you see all this thing playing out in Diamond Bank, in Access Bank, and also we expect that the economy will start recovering too. No, that will also reflect more on the banking sector. For me, if you are an investor in Access Bank, don't need to panic. Just hold on. In the next nearest future, you start getting a good dividend.
No, I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Because it was on this show also that he said that stocks are no wives. You
Yes.
should marry them. If you're not getting something, now move out of it and go elsewhere. Then you come back.
They've
So why
rewarded
must
you
I
now.
wait 2 years?
They've rewarded
in
you.
Access?
No, they're going to pay dividend. No, Access
Okay.
Bank, they're going to pay dividend in that board. We expect that they will go their dividend when things start, improve. No, they're going to pay you high. But for now, like we said, they paid in 2017, 2018, 25 kobo, 2019, 25 kobo, 2020, 25 kobo for interim dividend. At the end of the final year, we don't know what they're going to pay. If you're an investor, you are getting dividend yearly from your investment. It's good. For me, for them to grow their dividend is what's important to you as an investor, to grow their dividend. And it's when they are doing well, this investment starts yielding money because they are investing by acquiring all this bank, they cannot grow their outpay. When you grow their dividend payout, it's going to reflect on your...
Okay.
On your
We will wait. We will wait. All right, over to Fidelity Bank Q2 gross earnings was up by 2.03%. Fantastic profit after tax went up by 33.01%. Now, Fidelity Bank is that bank that is not interested in shouting too much, but they will just keep on bringing this result that is not disappointing. I heard now they are the one topping second-tier banks.
Yes.
Right. So what can you say about this?
If you look at the trend, if you look at the second quarter, when I analyze, when I study the numbers, that when they notice that this COVID-19 is going to impact negatively on the economy, they change their business model. That is usually that among the banks, especially the second-tier banks, their number is the best to compare to others. Even they have overtake what's it called, the Union Bank of Nigeria that have been there for. All these new generation banks are really going with the time, with the trend of time. Technology is assisting them. And you know that this bank is purely on trade. And people think that because they major on trade, and you know that this lockdown has affected most of businesses, that is going to affect them. But they change the mode of their business model, and that has really reflected on their number, which I know for me is okay. But you know that right from time that Fidelity don't pay interim dividend, but they will do audited account for the half year. That is to give you a position where they are going. For me, the numbers coming from Fidelity Bank is good enough for, especially those that are thinking long to start looking. Especially those that are looking for growth stock that you know that they will pay dividend and the price will move gradually up. You can look into stock like Fidelity at this price. So that I sell it below around the 180 kobo, having a second quarter EPS of 39 kobo. That is going somewhere. That means at the end of the year, expect around the 70 kobo to 80 kobo no full year earnings and dividends of 20-25 kobo likely to come, and that is good for investor in a Fidelity Bank. But now you know where they are. As a half year, is the position of the bank. They cannot think, in the next 6 months, what's going to end up? You know that by end of this month, third quarter will be up again. Then by October, after seeing third quarter result, for me, this is the right time investor should start thinking, where should I build my tent, where will I put my money? And knowing that the economy itself is dragging feet, but there are some sectors that are still looking up. I said earlier, as the economy is dragging feet, it's going to reflect on the bank. But the banks have shown strength with the numbers that despite the economic situation, we're still moving ahead.
Interesting. Thank you, Ambrose. All right, briefly, Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank grew gross Q2 of here. Grew their gross earnings by 4.37%. Profit after tax went up 16.81%, and Zenith Bank is still the most profitable bank. So just briefly, what do you have to say? Is there anything
good? One thing is that they maintain for 5 years they've been the most profitable in Nigeria. Not only that, they've diversified in terms of technology to drive activities. They are the first bank to introduce what we call a voice teller. Voice teller, you don't need to be talking like your phone, you better be going. When I say this bank has gone ahead in terms of technology, that is that the banks know what they are doing. Their numbers remain positive on uptrend for almost 25 years. They grow their earnings on quarterly and yearly basis to say that this bank has the future. For me, you see value in Zenith Bank. Take position and think long.
Thank you, Ambrose. I wish there was time. I'll have told you that, talk of technology leading, I think GTB is doing fantastically well in that area. But thank you, Ambrose.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to short break, and when we return, we talk about moving from paid employment to business. Case in point, Africa Farm. After the break, stay with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.